Brilliance Audio presents Dark Tomorrow by Reece Hirsch, performed by Emily Sutton Smith. Day 1. Traffic was light in the late evening, so DC's national landmarks flashed past in rapid succession on Constitution Avenue. The Lincoln Memorial, the World War II Memorial, the Washington Monument, the Capitol. Under a fluorescent moon on a cold, cloudless January night, all that white marble looked downright funereal. Or maybe it just seemed that way because FBI Special Agent Lisa Tanchik was on her way to a crime scene. As she drove north into Maryland with few cars on the highway, her thoughts replayed the day's events, which had started with the class on cybercrime investigation that she had taught that morning at Quantico, and concluded with a couple of bureaucratic skirmishes over her pursuit of a fishing ring. Today had been one of her dark days, when she watched life happening to her like a patient under anesthesia. Her depression was so constant a nemesis that she had given it a nickname, the Black Dog, a phrase borrowed from Winston Churchill. She imagined Black Dog curled in the passenger seat now, rising to sniff the air occasionally when the car jostled him. She lifted her coffee from the cup holder and took a couple of strong sips. When she'd received the call to the scene, she'd been at her DuPont Circle home with her boyfriend, midway through her third glass of wine. John had questioned whether she was in any shape to take the call, but Lisa would not be dissuaded. This was her first lead in months on a hacker whom she had been pursuing, and now the hacker had graduated to murder. On dark days like these, it helped to have a problem to work, so she thought about what she knew so far about the crime, next to nothing, and the likely perpetrator, quite a lot. She reviewed everything that she knew about the M.O. and characteristics of the hacker she had been pursuing for nearly a year. She wanted the details to be fresh in her mind when she reached the scene. At 11:35 p.m., she parked in front of a faux colonial apartment complex in Columbia, Maryland. Columbia was a bedroom community south of Baltimore and about 13 miles from Fort Meade, the headquarters of the National Security Agency. A lucky break had brought her there. Lisa had issued a law enforcement alert for a very distinctive M.O., and an officer with the Howard County Police Department had been diligent enough to read it and generous enough to alert her while the scene was still fresh. Lisa downed the rest of her coffee, popped 3 breath mints, and stepped out of the car and into the cold. The lights were all on in the apartment complex's lobby. A young uniformed officer was questioning the manager. The officer looked up at the frigid blast of wind as Lisa pushed through the door. "Your FBI?" He sounded a little disappointed, like she didn't live up to his expectation of what someone from the bureau should look like. "Special Agent Lisa Tanchik. They're expecting me." "I'll walk you over." Then, to the apartment manager, "Could you wait here for a minute? We're almost done." The manager jerked his head, a tense nod. Lisa couldn't tell if he was nervous about being in proximity to death or law enforcement. It was often difficult to distinguish the difference. "So you've seen this sort of thing before?" the officer asked. "Maybe. I'll know better once I get a look. The voicemail I got from your boss didn't provide many details." "Well, I've never seen anything like it," he murmured. There was another uniformed officer standing in front of the entrance to a 2-story red brick townhouse apartment. The door to Unit C-16 was closed, and there was already a strip of yellow crime scene tape across the doorway. "She's from the FBI," the young officer said. "Special Agent Tanchik?" He glanced at her for confirmation. Lisa nodded. When the door opened, the first thing she noticed was the lurid lighting. The small, otherwise dim living room pulsed with the bright white of a strobe. It had an immediate and disorienting effect. The source of the flashing was the large computer monitor on a desk in the left corner of the room. A middle-aged man was splayed on the carpet nearby, his body twisted and back arched like a parenthesis, fists clenched. Lisa shielded her eyes. Murder scenes were always grim, but the harsh light, flashing at high frequency added a particularly nightmarish quality.